We don't just wake up on the level of mind and the level of heart, but we also wake up on the level of the body. So because we're so heavily mind orientated, we're not present in the body. The body has become numb in a way. On top of that, there's all these contractions in the body, all these ways that the body has responded through life and held on to things, such as repressed emotions have stored in the body, trauma imprints have stored in the body, and also certain ways that we've functioned through stress and difficult things that have happened, which have lodged certain ways that the body holds on, whether that's a tight jaw, raised shoulders, hands pressing, bracing. There's certain patterns that the body is doing of contraction and holding on that prevents awakening from being embodied in the physical form. And so for the embodiment phase of awakening, so not just transcending and accessing reality, but bringing it back and down into the physical form, we're wanting this vessel to be cleared out. That's what happens through a genuine awakening when we're going through what you could call an embodiment phase. The vessel is being cleansed of its contractions and of its ways of grasping, so that we can completely feel presence in the body, which is just the felt sense of awareness. And so we can feel it throughout the entire body, and there's not a single part of the body that is numb or asleep. It's all comes back on board. And so we may start out not even realizing that we are not feeling our body fully, or that the body is asleep. We may not even know. If we had a lot of early childhood trauma, it's highly likely we're quite dissociated and not really able to fully feel the body. So we have to just be honest with ourselves of like, is it a possibility that this is something I need to work on? Because for most of us, it is the case. Whether we had a lot of trauma or whether we've just been very mind orientated and not done practices such as very conscious yoga or qigong practice, some type of mindful movement that really gets us to watch the body and watch the contractions. Even a practice such as Vipassana would help a lot. If we haven't done any of those things, it's very likely we're disconnected from the body and the body's in a sleep state. And so through awakening, the body awakening part of awakening is about disidentification with the body. So seeing that the body is not ours, that there is a living organism that is in form, but we don't have any ownership of it. It's not my knee surgery that I got at that time. It's not my heart condition. It's not my illness that I have. We don't claim ownership for the body. This disidentification process of the body itself happens incrementally. And as we can work on it through inquiry, through focusing on different body parts, resting awareness on different body parts and letting that dissolve, that disidentification, that is a part of the body awakening. We're also wanting the contractions, as I said, to dissolve, basically. And so anywhere where we're holding on, for whatever reason the contraction is there, we are wanting to work through every single layer of that to just become emptying out, and the vessel to become clearer and clearer. So we don't need it to be completely empty for a permanent realization to take place, but what will happen is a continual deepening and a continual working through these layers, which will happen automatically even when you're awake. The process will just keep continuing until it's completed, where awareness will just keep resting attention on the next contraction, the next holding on, the next imprint, or whatever it is, and it will be resolved ongoing. So we're just trying to get through as much as we can, and I'll guide you through a practice to assist with that in the end of this video. We're also wanting the body to start to come on board and operate independently, you could say. We're wanting to have a sense of its own control, And this is because it is an organism that does operate. And we may touch into this from time to time through awakening experiences we have, where we feel like the body is operating on its own, whether it's drinking a glass of water, sending a text message, whatever it is. We can get these awakening experiences where we get a taste of this, how this organism is just operating as it's conditioned to do so, just like any other animal is conditioned to operate in whatever way that animal is programmed to. This operates in what we're calling a human programming of a certain way that it's going to operate. And that will continue to happen regardless of where you're at with awakening. The bodies continue to operate in its own way. And so we're wanting to start to assist the body in letting it do what it wants to do and operate in the best possible way with its own wisdom, and try and get out of the way of that. And so we want to learn the body's wisdom. We want to tune into the body's language, and it speaks to us in a different way, and it takes some time to learn what certain things in the body, certain feelings mean in the body. And we learn our own language with that. Like we might be numb to how tired we are, or to how long we've worked, or if we haven't eaten in a while, or that we're thirsty. It's tuning back into these signals that we're kind of numb to, and respecting the body, and then giving the body what it needs. If it needs water, we give it that. We don't hold off. So that is a part of it. And then allowing the body to move, to rest, to do what it needs to do when it needs to do it, and stopping trying to control it or manipulate it as best we can. So ego really has this sense of that it controls the body and is trying to take control of it and use it for its own purposes, whether it's to succeed more in life, or to work longer hours, or to, you know, get a better body, or whatever it is. The egoic agenda uses the body, and so that can end badly for us. That can end in injuries, overworking, burnout, all kinds of things, which I'm sure many of you have experienced some variation of that. So that's what happens when ego is trying to control the body. And so what we're doing is trying to tune back into just the body's wisdom, and just allowing the body to communicate to us in its own way, and to express itself and what it needs. So it's a lot more simple. It's a simple organism, and we just need to learn how to tune into it. So doing things like mindful movement, a very mindful yoga practice, a very mindful qigong practice, but something where we're really allowing the body to move as it wishes to, and we are very present for that. Whatever the practice is, we're very present for that. We're not allowing ego, we're not allowing mind to have any type of control over what is happening, and just allowing the body to move. This is going to start to get back, the body is going to start to come back online. So it's almost like it's been frozen, and it's starting to thaw out and wake up every single little part of the body. So that is another part of the body awakening, and the embodiment part of awakening, where we want to experience presence fully. It's a felt sense that is experienced in the physical form. So it's not just tapping into awareness in a transcendent state, which can be very spacious on the level of mind. We can, it has its own flavor to it. This is a real sensual, it's in the senses, it's a real feeling state of presence. We really feel it in the physical form, and we want to feel it throughout the entire body, and be tuning into any area that is feeling a bit numb or that hasn't woken up yet, and giving that lots of attention. I do think talking to the body can be quite helpful. If there's an area that feels a bit numb, it's having trouble, like the feet are cold all the time, it's having trouble getting that energy all the way down into the feet. You could talk to the feet and have a conversation, even though this might sound funny, but is there something wrong? Is there something that you need? Sometimes explaining to the body certain things that have happened, that you got ill or that you had surgery there. The body can be a bit confused in a way. And so having a conversation with the body and allowing the body to express itself and converse back in its own way, in its own language, can be super helpful for this process of embodiment. And so now I'll go into a practice to assist with the addressing the contractions part of the body awakening, which is just one component that I mentioned. So please, if you want to participate, get yourself in a position where you can stay still and close down the eyes. And I suggest closing the eyes for this practice because we really want to tune our attention deeply into the body. We're really trying to feel into the body. And so just do a scan all the way from your feet, moving up to the body. We're just seeing how the body feels right now. How alive does it feel? Is it online? We're just checking in. We're tracking all the way up the body. Just noticing there might be some contractions, some holding patterns. We can move through this meditation. It's not so much about staying still. If it feels right to move, please do so. Once we finish tracking all the way up the top, just to check in on where the body's at. Just allow awareness to be drawn to any part of the body, wherever it's drawn to. Perhaps it's a contraction, coldness, tingling, some pain. Wherever attention is brought to, we're just resting awareness on that sensation. Breathing very deeply into it as we're resting attention. We might notice a softening starts to happen, a release. Feel like something lets go. So we're not trying to understand what these contractions are. This is not a therapy type of practice. It's not an emotional practice. We're just going straight to the physical sensations and using awareness to soften them, allow them to let go. And when you're done with one, and just see if awareness starts to focus on another contraction. We want to get good at picking up subtle contractions, a slight tightness in the neck, maybe lifted shoulders, holding the jaw, hands grasping each other, pressure being applied on legs. Notice a pushing, resistance, a contraction. Not making it wrong, just bringing attention to wherever the sensation is. Breathing into it, deep breaths, complete focus on that sensation. Allow awareness to melt the contraction. And it takes as long as it takes. Feel something letting go slowly on each out breath. Noticing that the body might be able to relax overall a bit more deeply as you do this practice. And we can move from one sensation to another. We can focus on a body part that feels tight, like your upper back. Breathe into it. Complete attention on that area. Using awareness to soften. Allowing the body to let go bit by bit. You can choose body parts or contractions, wherever the attention goes, even the body as a whole. Feel, what does it feel like, the body as a whole? Rest attention on that. Breathe into it. Is there any kind of softening that happens? Body doesn't like being tense, it's happy to let go. You can either follow one contraction to the next, which is more like Vipassana. We're noticing how it moves from one area to another. We're softening, using attention, and noticing the movement. Might move here, might move here. It's less about working out what it's about, this practice. Why am I feeling it here? We're not trying to figure it out, and we're not even trying to emotion it out for this practice. We're using awareness to allow the contraction that's there stored on the bodily level. We're using the solvent power of awareness to dissolve the physical contraction. There is a time and a place for emotional work, and this could be a separate practice where we're noticing and trying to bring out the repressed emotions or the stuck emotions, or working with a therapist. That is certainly beneficial. But this particular practice is just watching, using awareness and using breathing to help the body to relax those contractions.